Hello students, welcome to fraction part 2, and in this video series we'll be looking at decimal fraction. Decimal fraction is a fraction that is written in a decimal notation with the whole number before the decimal point and the fraction after it. For example, you can have decimal as 4.23. Okay, so this is a whole number before any decimal. So this is a decimal fraction. Then you can have maybe 22.57. Also, this is a decimal. There's a whole number here before the decimal notation. All right, so the decimal notation is just a way of writing fraction by putting the numerator after a decimal point. The denominator is not written down. Okay, for example, when you have a 1/10, okay, 1/10 is 1/10, which is the common fraction, and you can have it as a power of 10 raised to power minus 1 is 1/10, and the decimal fraction is 0.1. That means if you have 1/10, okay, and you have to convert it to fraction. So just like you have 10 here, you want to divide it by 1, right? So what you do is that 10 in 1, that is it's not possible. You put your 0 points, pinpoint, then you add 0 here. 10 in 10 give you 1. Okay, so that is the fraction when you divide 1 by 10. So the same thing goes with 100. 1/100, that is 0.01. 1/1000, that's 0.001. That's 10 raised to power minus 3. Okay, so that means there are 3 digits. This one shows that there are 3 digits: 1, 2, 3 after the decimal point. This one also shows that there is 2 digits: 1, 2. The decimal point is 1 digit. Then this is 10 raised to power minus 4, shows that there is 4 digits: 1, 2, 3, 4 after the decimal point. Now the fraction, if you want to convert decimal fractions to common fractions, the 0.5 that we have before represents, okay, this is like 5/10. Okay, let's do it again. Now if you have to convert this 0.5, you have to move it to fraction. So you pick this, then how many digits are after the decimal point? Is only 1 digit, so you put 10. Okay, if you have 0.57, okay, you pick this 57 up here, then how many digits are after the decimal point? 1, 2, and that is 100. So okay, so if you divide this 57 by 100, just shift the number of 0, 1, 2, it's going to give you 0.57. So the fraction here, which is 5/10, if you look at the equivalent fraction, so you divide this one by 5, divide this one by 5, it's going to give you half. Okay, as if that's the simplest form. So the equivalent fraction is this. All right, so a decimal fraction and a common fraction are just different ways of expressing the same value. Okay, and that is what we've just expressed here. Okay, now let us look at examples on how we can convert decimal fractions to common fractions. Now if you look at the examples that we're given here, write 4.08 as a common fraction. Now, like I said before, you need to check how many of this. This is 4.08. Okay, how many decimal do you have? how many digits rather do you have after the decimal. Now, what I will do here is that I will write all the digits that are here, because this one is 4.08. Can write my 408. Okay, those are the digits there. Then how many decimal are after, how many digits are after the decimal? So I have, for 4.08, I have 1, 2. So I'm going to divide this by 100. All right. So now what we are saying is that, like what we did here. So that's 100. Okay, this is 100, and this is 100 that we got here, which is 10 multiplied by 10, because we have 2 digits after the decimal point. Now, you need to start the first number, that's the number that you want to write here, from non-zero digits of the decimal fraction, right? From the non-zero digits of the decimal fraction. That means you write 408 over 100. Then this 408, you can also reduce it to its simplest form, which is you can divide this by 4, give you 102. Then you can divide this one by 4, it's going to give you 25. So if you convert this, which is the normal fractions, to mixed number, it's going to give you 4 whole number 2 over 25. Okay, so that is how to do that. Now let's give another example. Give another example. For example, if we were given say 24.08. Okay, now for this one at the bottom, you already know that this is 2 digits. Okay, let me put just 5 here. Okay, this is 3 digits after the decimal point, so you're going to have 1, 2, 3. Okay, now for the number that is going to be up, which is the numerator, you are going to start your number, from the non-zero digits. The non-zero digits here is 24085. So you start from here, 24085. So you're going to put 24085 here. Then after that, then you can reduce this to its simplest form. Now imagine we're given another one. Let's say we have let me say let me say 0.082. Okay, so and now how do we do that? We know that how many digits are after 0? We have 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3 here. All right. I said you're going to start the numerator from the numbers, the first non-zero digits. This is the first non-zero digit here. So and this 0. So I'm going to put 82 here. All right. Then I can reduce this to the simplest form. Can do divided by 4. You divide this one by 4, it's going to give me 20. No, I can divide by 2. It's going to give me 41. Okay, if I divide this one by 2, it's going to give me 500. Okay, so I have my 41 over 500. Okay, that's my simplest form to convert 0.082 to decimal. Okay, it's going to be 41 over 500. That's how to convert decimal fraction to common fraction. So this is a decimal fraction, this is a common fraction. All right. Now another example. Let's say you are to write 5 over 6 as a decimal fraction, right? This is a common fraction. We're to write it as a decimal fraction. You can just do your division, long division. Put your 5 here. Put your 6 here. Now 6 in 5 cannot go. You put your 0 points. Okay, then you add 0 here. Then 6 in 50 is going to give you 8. That is 48. So give you 8 here. Then multiply 6 by 8. It's going to give 48. Then when you minus this, it's going to give you 2. Now 6 in 2 will not give you anything. It's not possible. Then you add 0. Then 6 in 20 is going to give you a 3. That's 18, right? So if you put 18 here, then it's going to give you another 2. Then you're going to add another 0. It's going to give you 3. So now you just discovered that the division will just carry on forever. We keep on repeating 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So this is called a recurring decimal. Okay, so this is a recurring decimal, and we write it with a dot above the digits that repeat. So we have 0.833333. That's how to convert that to decimal fraction. So we just look at it and said, okay, we have 0.83 approximately is 0.83. So instead of repeating all the 3 that is in there. All right, so let us look at how we can convert fractions to percentage and vice versa. So a percentage simply means any fraction in which the denominator is 100. For example, if you have 20, which is the numerator, and you have 100 as a denominator, this is a fraction. You can have 5 over 100 as a fraction, and that's a percentage rather. Okay, it's a percentage, that is 20%. 20 divided by 5%. 5 divided by 100. 75 over 100. Okay, this is 75%. Okay, which means 75 over 100. This is 20%. Okay, which means 20 over 100. This is 5%, which means 5 over 100. So a percentage can be converted into common fractions, and also the common fractions in turn can be converted into decimal fraction. Okay, for example, this 20% here, okay, 20%, which means 20 over 100. So you can reduce it and put it in the simplest form. This can be divided by 2, or let's divide it by 5. So this one divided by 5. Okay, this one divided by 5. So this one is going to give me 4. Okay, over 20. Right, so I can divide this also by 1, by 4, which is 1. This one is 5. So I can have 1 over 5 as a fraction when reduced to its lowest form. Okay, so 20% has been converted to fraction. Okay, now you can also convert this particular one, this 1 over 5, which is fraction. You can also convert it to a decimal fraction, which we've done before. 1 over 5 to decimal fraction. So what do you need to do? Okay, you can do 5, 1. Okay, 5 in 1 is not going to 0 points. Then you can add your 0. 5 in 10 give you 2. Okay, so 1 over 5 can be converted to decimal fraction to be 0.2. Okay, so now let's look at how we can convert a percentage, other example, percentage to common fraction and also decimal fraction. For example, if you're given 75%, okay, like what I did here, so that would be 75 over 100. Okay, if you reduce it to the comments, the list form, you can divide this by 25, divide this one also by 25. This one will give you a 3, and this one will give you a 4. That is 3 over 4. Then this 3 over 4, which is the normal fraction, you can convert it to a decimal fraction. Okay, do 4, you do 3. Okay, 4 divided by 3 is not possible. Like I said, you put 0 points, then you add your 0. 4 in 30 will give you 7. That is 28. All right, then if you minus this, it's going to give you 2. Then when you minus, it's going to give you 2. Then you put your 0. 4 in 20 is going to give you 5. All right, so that give you 0.75, which is a decimal fraction. Okay, right. Let's look at further examples on this. All right, so if we're asked to say we're given 12.5, which is a decimal fraction, and we're to convert to a simple fraction. I said before, you need to look at how many digits are after the decimal point. So this is over 10. Then you can do your, non-zero digits here for as numerator. So you're going to have 1, 2, 5. Okay. Then you can then reduce. Now, another thing you can do is that this particular one, 12.5, is like 12 plus 0.5. 12 plus 0.5 is going to give you 12.5. So it's as if you're having 12 plus this one can be converted to a fraction. It's going to give you 5 over 10. Okay. So if you do that, this 5 over 10, you reduce it, it's going to give you half. Okay. So you're having like 12 plus half. So this 12 plus half is also is like 12 and half. That's 12 and a half as a mixed fraction. So if you convert this to a normal fraction, it's going to give you 25 over 2. That's 2 times 12, 24 plus 1, 5 over 2. Okay, so this is another way. So if you don't want to do that, like this number one that I did before, you can divide this one by 5. Also divide this one by 5. So this one is going to give you 25. And this is going to give you a 2. Okay, which is similar to the other way, that we have gone. Okay. Now, in this particular example, being able to convert decimal fraction to fraction. We've also looked at how we can convert fraction to percentage and also percentage to fraction. All right. In our series, we also looked at ordering of fraction. Okay, we looked at ordering of fraction, and we looked at equivalence fraction. And you remember equivalence fraction, like I said, that equivalent fraction give the same fraction when reduced to simplest form. Equivalent fraction give the same fraction when reduced to when reduced to a simplest form. So for example, if you have 3 over 6, right, then we have 4 over 8, okay, and we want to check if these are equivalent. All right, so what we need to do is to reduce 3 over 6 to a simplest form. If you reduce this 3 over 6 to a simplest form, this divided by 3, it's going to give me half, okay. Then if I reduce 4 over 8 to a simplest form, this can be divided by 4, that's 1 over 2 also. So because this 1 over 2 is equal to this, then we say that 3 over 6 is equivalent to 4 over, is equivalent to 4 over 8. All right, so that is part of what we've been able to do in our studies. All right, so to summarize what we've been able to do from the part 1 to part 2, we've been able to look at the common fraction. Said that common fraction is a fraction that is written as numerator over denominator. Denominator is always above, and the denominator is below, and both are whole numbers. All right, and we also say that a proper fraction is smaller than 1. The numerator is smaller than the denominator. That's a proper fraction. You have like 2 over 7. You have like 3 over 5. These are proper fraction, and they are smaller than 1. So it then means that if you have, let's say 20 over 20, this is an improper fraction because this one, when you divide, it's going to give you 1. And we say that a proper fractions, they are fractions that are smaller than 1. They are not equal to 1. Now, a mixed number consists of the whole number and a proper fraction. That is, can have like 5, 1 over 6 is a mixed number. 2 whole number, 1 over 3 is a mixed number. So those are mixed numbers. Okay, we also discussed equivalent fraction, which I've just talked about now. We also say fraction in its simplest form when the numerator and numerator have no common factor. All right, so that is a fraction. It's in simplest form. So when the numerator and numerator have no common factor, for example, when you have 1 over 2, so this fraction is in the simplest form because you don't have factors to divide both again. So you reduce it to its simplest form. All right. So we also discussed how we want to order fractions, and we said to be able to compare fractions, you can expect them with the same denominators by checking the lowest common multiples for all the fractions. Then you will now know which fraction is bigger than which, and also taught you how you can do a quick check in case of objective question. For example, if you are given a fraction 1 over 4 and to compare with 7 over 6. Okay, no, this is an improper. Yes, 7 over 6, and you have to check which one is the biggest out of this fraction. So you just do 6 multiplied by 1 here, will give you 6. 4 multiplied by 7 here will give you 28. Now, this 28 is bigger than 6. So that means 7 over 6 is greater than 1 over 4. So this is the biggest. So I also taught you that one. Okay, so we also discussed decimal fraction, decimal notation. So the decimal point separate the whole numbers from fractions. So in decimal, you have like the whole number, the points 3, 5, this decimal notation. All right. So, and we also discussed that a percentage is a fraction of which denominator is 100. For example, when you have 25 over 100, when you have 17 over 100, this means 17% or 25%. All right. So the denominator is always 100. All right. So we have come to the end of the second part of year 7 fraction. I want you to subscribe to our YouTube video channel. I want you to give this video a thumbs up. I want you to like the video, share with your friends. And also, we want to hear from you. We want to hear feedback. If you have questions, you can drop your comments on the space provided on the YouTube. All right, so till next week, we'll bring another mathematics video. I hope this has been very, very informative. See you next week. Bye.